So the first kind of friend breakup that I want to talk about, this is the easiest one. We kind of love this one, honestly. The mutual slow fade. So this is where usually, let's say it's a friend from college, or maybe it's a coworker who you work with in the office. And to be honest, it was kind of a utility friend. I say this with all due respect and all the love in my heart, but sometimes we're just friends with people because they're around. All right. And we'd rather talk to this person rather than talk to nobody. So utility friendships are the perfect way to have a mutual slow fade because let's say you get a friend in college, you're partying together, that's the phase of your life, and then you both graduate, you live in different cities, you go from texting every single day or week to maybe once a month, 2, 3, months from now to nothing. And this one is usually super easy because both parties decide, deuces, we're in different places. We are mutually saying sayonara. So this one we love. What do we do in this situation? Absolutely nothing. We continue not to reach out. We don't have to send a message saying, hey, we're in different places and I just don't think. We don't have to. We don't. We do not have to start a fire.
And there's no obligatory happy birthday or Merry Christmas.
Oh, big one, yeah.
Because that is oftentimes people, I realized for myself, I felt obligated to reach out on the special occasion for themselves or a special occasion in general, just to show them like, hey, I'm still thinking of you. I still care of you. When I wasn't feeling excited to reach out. It felt more of like a list. And so even just that, like that's not really necessary.
Yeah.
There's a certain point where you reach, you're like, you know what? I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah. And I think this is a big one coming from Cam because I feel like some people in friendships are the glue. Cam was the glue in a lot of his relationships, and not just friendships, but family relationships and everything. He was really good at reaching out, especially on special occasions, on their birthdays, of all these things. And I think an interesting thing that happened with you when you started severely, quickly, intensely leveling up was that you were like, wait a second, I don't want to say happy birthday. What? Is that okay? Is that allowed? And so I want you to talk about that a little bit more because I feel like a lot of people are operating off of checkboxes of, oh, I'm doing this thing because I have to, because I should. But what did you do in that situation when you started to actually enter an entirely different dimension when you moved to Austin? What was your playbook? Was there a grieving process there? How did you tell yourself it was okay to slow fade and not reach out of obligation?
Yeah, well, first things first, I think it's fantastic to be someone that initiates things, right? Not only are you initiating things with a friends group, but oftentimes you're initiating things for your own life. And that's an incredible skill to have. And I'm so grateful I learned that from what I believe was my father, my uncle, my grandfather. It feels like a lineage of just the networker, the people person. And so growing up, I've developed contact lists of hundreds, if not thousands of people that I would somehow stay in touch with, whether it's just on social media or through texting, or every time I'm back in town, like my hometown, Las Vegas, I'll go see this half a dozen people this week, and then I'll be back in a few weeks. I'll see these different half a dozen people this week. I got to make sure everyone gets their time. They get the lunch, they get the dinner, they get the breakfast, whatever it may be, the hangout after in the evening. I try to diversify my time as much as possible to keep as many connections as possible going. But then it got to this point where I realized, oh man, my time is really valuable, right? And this was big for me when I started working for myself. When I was having somewhat of a normal job that was very stable, of like 9 to 5 type thing, and you don't really have any hobbies or purpose outside of that, like that used to be me, you try to fill your time with whatever you can or whoever you can. And so in that phase of life, it's so useful to have, oh, these are my buddies I can play basketball with. These are the people that I talk sports with. These are the people that I do business with. These are the people that I, want to go to the club with. These are the people, whatever it may be. And it's very useful to have those pockets of friend groups and family. But then there gets to this point, and I feel like a lot of our audience is getting to this point right now where they are doing things with their life that is moving them in a forward direction that most other people around them are simply not in the same wavelength anymore. For me, I mean, it was a massive personal development growth phase and also business phase. So not only was I having different values of, okay, I no longer want to go to these certain restaurants and bars and drink, or go to these certain places, especially in Vegas, like all the clubs or the casinos. Like I kind of wanted to stay away from that. So naturally, the circumstances that would have connected me with so many others no longer did. But then there's also this huge time difference going on in my life where every hour that I'm spending trying to see all these different people is an hour less that I could be building the thing that I know will be the deepest impact I can bring to the world in terms of businesses, in terms of my creations. I'm a creative person. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a writer. I want to make sure that my time and, more importantly, energy is utilized in the best way possible. And that is by creating. I could still maintain the same amount of relationships that I had when I was, whether it was 17, 19, 22, even a handful of months ago. But my calendar would be absolutely packed with everything that isn't me, that isn't moving my life forward.